This is the Celiac Project, two guys talking gluten-free. Just wanted to give a little disclaimer. We are not medical experts, doctors, dietitians,
Nurses.
bone experts, surgeons.
We're only experts at being celiac patients.
So enjoy the show. And if you're going to do any changes to your diet or need real medical advice, please go to the medical professionals.
That's what they're there for. We have an amazing treat for you. If you want to listen and watch this week's episode, you can go to youtube.com/@celiacproject and watch it there.
If you prefer, you can listen as you usually do. We hope to have some of our future shows on video as they are available, so look for that as well. Now let's get to the show.
Sounds good.
Today's episode of the Celiac Project podcast is sponsored by Taste Republic, who believes everyone deserves to eat good, fresh pasta, no matter their dietary restrictions. All of Taste Republic's pastas are certified gluten-free and beloved for not sacrificing taste or texture. With fan favorites such as 4-cheese tortelloni and cauliflower linguine, Taste Republic has a wide range of pastas to choose from. Find Taste Republic at retailers such as Whole Foods Market, Publix, Sprouts, Meijer, H-E-B, or online at tasterepublic.com. You found the Celiac Project podcast, two guys talking gluten-free. I'm Mike.
And I'm Cam.
And who's joining us on the podcast today, Cam?
Today we have Maureen Basye.
Maureen is founder, of course, of the Celiac Cruise. Maureen has some super, super duper exciting news about a one-of-a-kind cruise that's coming up and so much more. Let's get to the show.
Sounds good.
Cam and I are so happy to welcome one of our absolute favorite people, favorite guests, favorite friend of the podcast, Maureen Basye. How are you, Maureen?
I'm great. It's so good to see you both again. It's been a minute, but great to see you. Everybody looks younger. How do you do it? I think
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one.
Well, I certainly don't feel younger, but you always look younger. I feel and think I look older. Cam is ageless, as we know. But yeah, so much fun to have you on, and it has been a minute. I did look back into our archives, Maureen, before we jumped on today. You've actually been on the podcast 5 times. So if you haven't heard Maureen on the show, if you want to go all the way back to episode 169, that was, I think, pre the first Celiac Cruise, then 225, 270, 332, and 383. And I want to introduce you. This is Maureen. Everyone knows, I think, who's listening, is the founder of the wonderful Celiac Cruise, been a total game changer for our whole community. And we're just so happy to see you. You know, I remember having talks with you before this was a reality. The first thing I wanted to ask you today, when this hatched in your incredible mind to do the Celiac Cruise, did you think in your wildest dreams that this would turn into what it is today? Like, how close is this to your original vision? And I mean, we're so blown away.
I'm equally blown away. I mean, every single cruise, like, they say when you're moved to tears every single day, you're doing something right. And, every cruise, I cannot put a microphone to my mouth without crying. But anybody knows who sails with me. And I think it's just, I never, ever imagined in my wildest dreams that this would become what it has. And I think to me, it's just a statement of this community, just the amazing people who have gotten behind it, who trusted in other people in this community, which we know very well. Trust is a hard thing to do, especially, with us. And I think being able to, trust has been a big piece of this. Before this all started, our first one in 2020, which, again, crazy. I kind of thought maybe we do one cruise a year if we were lucky. We just finished our 31st cruise a few weeks ago. So, I mean, it's mind blowing and it's such a blessing. And the people I've met, what this has done for even my celiac journey, I've learned so much from this community. It's been incredible.
That is amazing. I do remember too, in the beginning, the first cruise sold out so fast. And I knew right then and there, like, you guys are going to have a really good trajectory and path ahead of you. And like you said, it is a totally wild dream. And jumping from that to dream vacations, I heard you have something that you wanted to share with our listeners.
We're getting right to it. Well, again, like there's been wishes, there's been hopes, there's been, oh my gosh, there's no way. But everybody's have to have goals, right? And every time I walk through a ship, and obviously we've done really amazing things with many different cruise lines to this date. But I look around and I'm like, what if? What can we do next? What could be the greatest thing that we could do next? And I'm really excited that one of those big, big, big picture dreams is happening actually in 2028. We will be doing the first ever completely gluten-free big ship. One of those complete charters will be on Oceania Cruise Lines. They are the first company that has taken the leap and actually making this dream happen for us. As you can imagine, it is quite a commitment from anyone to make that leap to go ahead and do that. So we're so appreciative of their commitment and their excitement. We've done a few cruises with them already. We'll do another one in October, but it is just a amazing, incredible, stunning ship. 1,200 passengers. So this will be, I'll get to the details if that's what people want, and then I can share all about the actual cruise line. So it's May 31st of 2028, 12 nights, and we will be going to Ireland, Scotland, and the British Isles. Like I said, 1,200 passengers. There is 12 different dining venues on board, which again is like the mind-blowing piece of like when I visualize like walking around the ship and literally being able to blindfold yourself and being able to say, yes, that. I mean, that's what this is. The bakery. There's an Italian specialty restaurant. There's an Asian fusion specialty restaurant, a French one, a steakhouse, the main dining room that is like, looks like it's right out of Titanic. I mean, it's stunning. But then the quick service, al fresco, pizzeria, like it's just such a statement for our community too, that I feel like finally, I keep wanting to say, finally, this is happening because people have seen us and heard us. And I'm just so honored to be a little bit a part of that. So yes, we are so excited.
That is super exciting. I totally get why that's the dream, because that would have been the hope, but a big hope for even the first cruise to be an entirely gluten-free ship. And I remember you talking about, it's like first we have just this one kitchen, then it was the entire floor, and now it's the entire ship. So that is so cool. I'm so happy to hear about all that too.
It's really exciting. And this is where people wanted to go. We always do listen. We're so excited because we're also able to, really take this off the ship too and do some excursions. So we'll be vetting out these different excursions. So again, going back to that 100%, let's go back to the way it used to be, or, those of us who can't remember what it used to be like, but this is what a traditional normal vacation should feel like. And that's what this is going to be.
So impressive. I mean, I remember you told me about this a little while ago, and I've been absorbing it. And it's just so amazing, like you and Cam are saying about the evolution. And I know this is something that is so incredible. As someone who's been able to go on a couple of these wonderful cruises and being able to turn my head off. And, I was fine on the cruise where we have just an area. I know that this takes more work to get a whole cruise 100% gluten-free. So can you share with our listeners some of the challenges of just, first of all, finding the right partner to do this? And then what are some of the challenges of making the whole cruise gluten-free for everybody?
Well, I think the right partner, that's a great starting point. I mean, one thing about Oceania that, their entire tagline is the finest cuisine at sea. So it's very easy for us to plug in a little, 2 letters there. So we're excited about that. Now we're just going to add the finest gluten-free food at sea, cuisine at sea. They have, their general statistics. I mean, they're so food-based. That's really their culinary focus is the big part of what they do. So there's, I think, per 8 passengers, 1 chef. So that's just their general like standard. So, I mean, it just kind of fits already, right? So they're really, they're excited about this challenge too, because of that culinary focus, right? I think that's what I love so much about this is it's such a different feeling when you're interacting with the culinary people, like as opposed to sometimes going to a restaurant, you feel like you're kind of annoying and you're a nuisance and, oh, here we go again. Whereas these people are excited to have us because it's different. It's a challenge. They're doing what they love, but they get to change it up a week or so. And they actually really see people who fully appreciate their efforts as opposed to just, okay, another, filet tonight. It's like, wow, every single person is so, so appreciative of having consecutive days of safe meals that also taste amazing. So they leave and they're like, when's the next one? I want to be a part of this. We have chefs and servers consistently always asking, can I do the Celiac Cruise? Which just makes me so happy because it's a statement of our community too. But as it relates to the right partner, so they obviously have that. They've got the culinary interest. So that has taken some time. The planning process of this, I mean, we're just kind of diving in. Of course, it's in 2028, so we have some time. But, the meetings have begun and they've already been double-digit hours long with the entire team. That's what's so cool about this entire cruise line. It's like, let's not waste time and like just, piecemeal this. Let's set 6 hours per meeting and just get everybody around the table and really start diving into how we're going to individually operate this. And they treat us like we are right there at the table, a part of this team. So we're truly a part of the entire operation, which is awesome because they know what we do best and we know what they do best. So challenges, I mean, think about procurement in itself, which all of these things I've learned about it's like I have a whole new background of cruise ship, like master's degree in getting cruise ship food on board. It's fascinating, the whole process. In general, just getting food on board. Now we're thinking 1,200 passengers of gluten-free food, only gluten-free food. So they're also removing all of the traditional, all of the gluten-containing food. This all has to leave. Right. So because the ships are only so big, they can't store endless amounts of food. Right. So the cleaning processes of what's going into this, I mean, they're putting their name on this. They've already safely executed it twice. So they know what goes into it. The Celiac Disease Foundation will be very involved in our entire process again, like they always are for the pre-cruises and making sure all labels are checked. Everything is done like it's the first time we've ever done this, which is, I think, a big part of our safety standards, why we've had 31 safe sailings without events. All of those different processes. We're probably going to be boarding that ship late that day. And I think people are going to be fully understanding because this is because of safety. So we don't want to rush on board. We want to make sure that ship is clean to the extent that it needs to be. And knowing these people and how committed they already are 2 years out, I promise you it's going to be the experience as promised.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I want to sort of paint a picture for those listening who haven't been on a cruise because, as I said, I've been on a large one and a smaller one going down the Danube, and we were on a river cruise, and it was 100% dedicated on a smaller scale. But when Maureen says you're not going to get just like a steak every night or a piece of fish every night on that cruise, everything was like the equivalent to what a gluten-containing meal, if they made like a noodle dish, it would be the noodle dish that you would get in Germany with like schnitzel, and it would be indistinguishable from the original. And I know from what you're saying and the way that this cruise line handles things, that this is just going to be to the nth degree with that. What are some of the challenges? Because you have proven that you can do that on a smaller ship. What do you think some of the challenges are taking from a smaller ship, moving 100% gluten-free to the larger venue?
Well, so like I said, I think getting a variety of all the different products we need on board. Obviously, we are leaving. I didn't know if I even mentioned this. We're leaving from London. There are a lot of laws in terms of certain ports, which you're allowed to bring through certain ports. So things, again, that I won't bore you, but, animal products can't come through certain ports. So certain things that we know we want are going to have to come on in a different port. But, delivering the equivalent experience, which is what we will do and what they have committed to do, is, I would say, a major challenge already because you have to ensure. So there's 16 different varieties of pastries when you walk through the bakery tomorrow. So just making sure that the chocolate stuffed croissant is as fluffy as it was 3 months ago on the other cruise. So I think that experience, so making sure, I mean, they are trying to stay consistent with their menus. So again, we are getting the traditional experience. So there's not a lot of menu changing from a branding perspective as well. So yeah, puff pastry needs to be included so we can make sure we have X, Y, and Z recipe that is traditionally on the Polo Grill Steakhouse. So, it's just those type of things. I think, we believe the people are out there. I mean, I have to be honest, like I have emotions too. Like it's a big commitment, but I feel like our community is going to stand up and say, oh my goodness, this is a once in a lifetime experience. I don't know if it will happen again. I hope it does. I hope that we make a splash, no pun intended, but really they see the value and wow factor of this and we get to do it every year. Of course, you put your name on anything for the first time. I'm not concerned about safety, that I promise you. That I'm very comfortable with. It's just, if you build it, they will come. That's what, the movies tell me. So I hope that we stick to that here too. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to say that it's a challenge because I haven't gotten there yet, but I hope it's not too much of a challenge. I want to make sure also excursions, like the excursions are equivalent. So we're diving deep already into these ports of call, calling different venues, making sure we have gluten-free equivalents. Because as I said about Oceania, they're a very culinary heavy operation that extends to their ports of call as well. So, they want to make sure that, so for example, what you do on an excursion is you go shopping in the port, you get all the food that you want to make. I mean, there's so much freedom from a food perspective compared to some other cruise lines, which makes me really excited. So you go and you go shopping, you get all the ingredients that you need for a certain thing, and you're in a traditional market in Scotland or something like that. And then you're going to come back on the ship and you're going to prepare that in their culinary center led by a chef. And then you eat it. So you can imagine the research that needs to be done in advance to make sure that that all can operate as it traditionally would.
Yeah, that's amazing and extremely complicated sounding too. So definitely no easy task by any means. Hey, Mike, I wanted to take a minute to talk about our sponsor, Taste Republic. Taste Republic was founded with a singular purpose, and it's one that they have not swayed from, producing high-quality, fresh, gluten-free pastas.
Yeah, Cam, and what's really cool was how it all started. One of the Taste Republic co-founders was selling traditional pasta at the local farmer's market, had a loyal customer diagnosed with celiac disease, and was upset that they could no longer eat the pasta.
And with that as the driving force, he set out to develop a recipe that was gluten-free, yet matched the taste and texture of traditional pastas.
Yeah, and the wild part is that Taste Republic really pulled it off. They still operate under the idea that everyone deserves to eat good pasta no matter their dietary needs. They continue to develop some of the best gluten-free pastas available, like their famed 4-cheese tortelloni.
The best part is you can find your favorite Taste Republic bag of 4-cheese tortelloni or spinach and cheese tortelloni at retailers such as Meijer, Publix, and Target.
Check out all their delicious pastas at tasterepublic.com, where you can use their convenient store locator to find them locally or purchase online. Now let's get back to the show.
Sounds good. You had said earlier there's been 31 cruises so far.
Yes.
How many different destinations total?
It's funny. I was just calculating this today. I would say we're at about 23. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the Caribbean and the Bahamas are our most repeated. We've done the Danube actually 3 times now, or 4 times actually. But yeah. And then we've got some really excited ones that we're adding to the list where people have wanted to go. If we can make it happen, we will. I mean, that's kind of what Connie and I always say, like, there's rhyme behind this craziness. If we can't do it because there's certain ships that we can't operate and dine safely, that's the only holding us back on certain things.
I gotcha. And you said the newest ones that will be in the 2028 is Scotland, Ireland, and
the British Isles. Yes.
And the British Isles. And that's a new destination that wasn't.
Yes, we never will have done that before. Yes. And that's the only cruise that we've released for 2028, which is unique for us. Normally, due to deployment, deployment is how cruise lines will tell you, usually it's 12 to 18 months in advance, which is why we just released our entire 2027 calendar in this past March. And that's not because we were trying to hold things back or make people crazy or create, stir in the community. It's because we were waiting to hear the final deployment for the 4 or 5 day cruises from the Royal Caribbean ships. So we try and release everything all at once for the whole calendar year so people can look and say, okay, I want to do this, and see exactly what they want to do before, then they have to change their mind when they see something else pop. So this will be the first time we've ever released something so far in advance because it is a full ship.
Special.
Yes.
I gotcha. Then my last question on this topic is, out of the destinations that are not available yet, I know there's always like a list. What is the next one you're hoping to add to the list? An asterisk caveat, everyone listening, this is a hope. It's not guaranteeing that it's going to happen. Just dreaming here.
Dreaming. Well, I know collectively what I want and in addition to what other people want. It's funny. We all kind of think the same. Japan.
Oh, that'd be a cool one.
Japan, and then Iceland as well.
Fun.
Yes.
Okay. On the dream list.
The dream list.
Okay, sign me up for both of those right now. And it's funny, my youngest daughter, she's a big fan of Japanese culture, is going to go to high school and study Japanese. And I dream of traveling to Japan. And there could be no better way than with you on a celiac cruise.
I would love that.
Speaking of children, Maureen, I know you have 3 wonderful children. I'm not going to ask you your favorite, but akin to that. And I know there's no right or wrong answer, but has there been a cruise and cruise destination that you've been on that just blew your mind? And to the caveat that Cam said, all your cruises have been 10s out of 10s, but has there been one that you've been on and you're like, wow, this really, like, I had these expectations and it just blew it off the chart?
It sets the bar, like that kind of a thing, I'm assuming you mean, right, Mike?
Yeah, but you can take this any way you want. And again, my endorsement is you cannot go wrong on a celiac cruise. I want to say one note about Maureen too. I want every listener, obviously, to sign up and go on the celiac cruise, go on all of them. I'm ready for the Oceania in 2028 and all of that. Until you've gone on a celiac cruise with Maureen, you will see what a force of nature that she is, where she is working, and I've been able to like hang out late in the night, and Maureen is just always there and always excited, and the energy that you have, you don't ever sleep in. So that's my hope for everyone listening, is that they can meet Maureen on the celiac cruise, because I'm so sad. I'm not sad. I'm excited to say that I am going on the next Alaskan celiac cruise. But the one thing that gives me pause is that you will not be there with us. So I'm a little upset. But there's my long-winded, I gave you time
Yes.
to think of an answer. So now I'm going to put you on the spot.
And you gave me pressure because, I'm going on a cruise very soon and people are going to be like, wait, why did you go to bed early? I thought you'd hang out late.
You can take a day off now.
That was a few years ago. I'm getting old now, Mike. You brought up the kids, so I feel a little pressure that I'm supposed to talk about a cruise that my kids were on, right? So obviously what's great is I am so lucky that I do get to bring my kids to work. A lot of times, obviously, as they've gotten older, missing school is a little bit harder than it used to be. But, we have 2 European cruises this summer that they'll get to come on. But I'll get to the answer to the question. So they do get to spend some time with me. I have loved, obviously the river cruises are so quaint, and you really, really get a chance to sit and talk to everybody. Like, everyone's name by the end of it, which is something special, I think, especially for this community. We've done the holiday markets 2 times in a row. And it's very interesting because it's cold. It's cold. You'd think like vacation, you think, oh, it's hot. You need sunglasses. But those have been especially charming to me because it's kind of like après-ski-ish feeling. People are a little bit more laid back. They're a little bit more, I don't know, hot cocoa. You're drinking, Glühwein. It's just a little bit more lodgy feeling, and the lights and, I don't know. So those have been really special. I've loved those. Last year we went on a cruise on Royal Caribbean in Northern Europe, which has been, we were in Norway, which we only touched Norway, whereas next summer we're doing a cruise all through Norway. It's only Norway, the ports, which is the fjords and things like that, which look absolutely amazing. It was one of my favorites, and I will tell you, it was just the people, like the fun, the connections. It was just one of those things that, all the kids by the end of it were doing these like TikTok dances in big groups, like 60 of them on the pool deck. Like I really found myself stepping back a lot of that time and just really seeing the power of this community. So I think I'm kind of going around the question of destination because sometimes I feel like the feeling of this is a perfect cruise comes from a lot of things than other than just where you are. So
That's a
did
good
I
answer.
answer that? Okay. All right.
I'll accept that answer. Yes, very
Okay.
nice
All
answer.
right. And Alaska is amazing too. I mean, you can't go wrong with Alaska also is that same kind of feeling. It's very laid back, and you can choose your own adventure on all of these cruises, right? It's like, yes, some people choose to dress to the nines. They want to get that holiday card, whereas you can wear whatever you want. That's what's nice about cruising anymore. It's not like this required uniform every night. And, they've got themes and one night is country night, but you don't have to participate if you don't want. So it's just a little bit more laid back than it used to be.
Definitely. And I know you shared earlier that one of the difficult things is getting all of the safe foods on the ship and obviously executing. But is there any one part of doing this whole celiac cruise thing that has been the most difficult that you didn't kind of see coming?
There's a lot of last minute surprises that if I were to share with you all,
Make
y-
our hair stand on end?
yes, and but the good news is it's not safety. It's not like, oh my gosh. I mean, granted, we do our job for a reason, and everybody has seen that, supply chain is supply chain. And we all know the risks of you order this and sometimes a different thing comes. But, it's never been that. It's, oh my gosh, we almost didn't have you know, a lot of bread for one of the cruises. And oh my goodness, the flour didn't show up. What are we going to do? We have 7 days until this cruise. I mean, those type of things that I'm very much involved in. So, but that stuff happens all the time because we are special ordering things. Yes, all of these cruise lines have some basic gluten-free things, but they have a lot of specialty orders for us, right? And we know things go wrong. Things are all of a sudden out of stock and it happens a lot. And we are scrambling till the last minute. So, I have a cruise in a few weeks and it's like the leading up to, okay, we're checking to make sure, is that in? Is that on the ship? Has that arrived? Because it happens. I've had moments. We all love Karen and Jake so much. Jake and I, we've spent a lot of time on the phone last minute. Where is that beer? you know, it's in customs. Well, it can't be in customs much longer. We need to get it out of customs because we need it on the ship. So there's just a lot of that kind of stuff that it always works out. But
Yeah, I got it. I get that.
I remember on the second ever Celiac cruise that I was able to be on, and what was the name of the donut company?
Freedom
Freedom
Donut.
Donut. Shout
Yep.
out to Freedom Donut. Shout out to
Yep.
Holly Daly, as you said, Jake and Karen. And you explained how you got these donuts to be on the cruise, and it was like ordering a special car, and it was crazy.
A
And
hot truck.
a
I
hot
learned
truck.
what a
I'm sorry,
hot
a
truck
hot truck.
was.
Yes. This shows you Maureen will do anything. And like she said, she always makes it work out. I don't know how you do it. And I know we're getting near the end. We are really obviously so excited about this news that you've shared with us about that special first ever cruise. And I know that is a little ways off. Can you share maybe not everything, but maybe some of the highlights of other cruises that are coming up before that in 2027 that people can sign up for?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we still even have two of my most, I'm very, very excited this October. I think we may have a few spots left on our Barcelona one, like 20 spots left. That's actually July, so very soon. But then the next one is October, actually on this same ship. So if anybody wants to try it out, see what they think on the Oceana Vista out of New York. So if you want to do a vacation without having to fly, overseas, it leaves from New York and ends in Montreal. It's in October. So it's the like fall colors, St. Lawrence River, all through there. So that's, going to be a dream itinerary there. And then shortly thereafter, we're going back over to Europe on the lower Danube, which is like Romania, where I guess we're sailing right through Transylvania on Halloween. So we're going to have one heck of a Halloween party because, we always find any reason to turn up a celebration. So people promise Dracula's going to come. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm told he's arriving. So those two, we do still have space on that are very unique special itineraries for us that we've never done. Into 27, we always do try and keep some of those shorter cruises for guests who want to just try it. Many times people have not done a cruise before and they're not quite committed or ready to do a 7-night if they hadn't stepped on one. So we do have a spring break timeframe cruise for the first time in March. So it's always very hard to pinpoint people's spring breaks because it's a moving target for everyone. But we kind of tried to go, we looked again where percentages of the United States where spring breaks are. So there's a 4-night spring break cruise in March for families, not spring break like what spring break Panama City is not what I'm trying to convey here. And then, next summer, like we talked about, obviously we have our Alaska cruises that we always do again. We're leaving out another cruise out of Texas on the Symphony, which, people love sailing out of Galveston, which was a nice for our, people not having to fly to Florida. So there's one of those in May around Memorial Day. And then we're doing an inaugural cruise out of LA for the very first time. So we've never done that. So then we're doing like the Western Mexican. I think that's a 4-night too, another short one. And then Alaska and then the Norwegian fjords, like I mentioned. And then there's another Mediterranean that people love. Where else? Oh, Rhine and the Moselle. We're doing that on AMA Waterways again. I think that's in April. And then southern France, the Rhone River in October. And I'm sure I'm forgetting one. So please forgive me. You can always
Go to the website.
Yeah, celiaccruise.com. to see how I have not completely memorized the itineraries yet, but I'll do better next time.
You got plenty to memorize. You're good.
I think you did great. And yeah, before we wrap up today, Maureen, I know, like you said, everyone should go to celiaccruise.com to get more information, sign up for all those cruises, and anything that we haven't hit on today that you think would be helpful for our listeners to hear.
No, I mean, I think for me, we get a lot of questions about additional dietary restrictions, and I mean, we're well aware that a lot of people have, additional dairy, things like that. And you are welcome. I mean, Royal Caribbean, AMA Waterways, and Oceania all do an amazing job at catering to additional dietary restrictions. So don't feel that, yes, we are the Celiac Cruise, and you don't have to have celiac disease to join us as well. Any type of gluten. If you don't eat gluten, you're a friend of ours. So you're welcome to join. No diagnosis required. But, that's just kind of our standard of safety. So that's why we are Celiac Cruise. But feel free to reach out to me, to us. We're always happy to answer questions because we recognize, why should I trust you? Why should I believe this is legit? But just know that 31 cruises later, and this is for the community. For those who've been diagnosed for a while, who will find out tomorrow, but it's something for all of you. So I hope you can join us.
Thank you so much, Maureen.
Yeah, we appreciate you. I'm so glad you actually brought up that last point because I have a couple gluten-free people in my family who are also dairy-free, and we're always treated wonderfully. And Maureen, we could go on and on. We will have you on again soon to talk more about these adventures. I can't wait for my trip to Alaska and to share that with everybody. But thank you for really changing people's lives, for letting us travel and completely turn our brains off for the food part, and really appreciate you and all you've done, you and Connie and your whole team.
Thank you both so much. I feel the same about you both.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to today's show. If you like the podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to the podcast. This will help other people find the show. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.